Now mirroring an object in 3D Max is really useful. What you do is you select the object. Here's the mirror button. Now you notice if I press no clone, it's just going to mirror it, and it can choose whatever access you want. It's a little bit strange, but I want to make a copy. In other cases you'll want to have an instance, which means that it's basically part of the same thing. It's like a mirrored clone, but it's not a real mesh. And at the end you can always go ahead and make it into an editable mesh. For instance, I'm going to make instead of a copy like I normally do, I'm going to do an instance here. Press OK. Now you might wonder, like, how can I get it to be exactly the same distance from this thing? Like, how can I make them equidistant? In this case, you would have to actually look at the translation data over here. So if this is, I like to make it round numbers just so it's easier to remember. If it's 138, negative 30 and 5, this is going to be a positive 30, a 5, and a 138. So those should be equidistant. I can go ahead and select both, move them down. You'll see in the front viewport, there they are. When you have it on instance, what's really great about that is everything I do to one happens to the other. So for instance, there you go. That way you can kind of, this especially works when you're working on half a person. Basically, everything I do to one I can do to the other, which, well, it makes editing a lot easier because I can see it mirrored as opposed to just having to imagine it on both sides. Now if you ever want to give one of these a feature the other one doesn't have, you're going to have to go all the way up to the top level here, select the other one. Now it's still mirrored, so basically if I do something it's still doing that. At the top level, if you select something, right click, convert it to an editable mesh, it's now its own thing. At this point now, it's no longer mirrored. I just ended the mirroring. And if you want to go back to mirroring, you're going to have to do that over again. So it's best to plan, if you're going to have something slightly different, you do that at the very last stage usually. So say I want that to be slightly uneven. There you go.